It's been over 10 plus years since Pokemon X and Y originally came out, and this fact never really sunk in for me until Pokemon Company decided to announce the new Pokemon LegendsZA, because we're all expecting Pokemon Black and White 3 or Legends Kyurem. But yeah, with that announcement, it just made me realize I have yet to go back and play those games since its original release, so it's well enough time for a second playthrough. Akin to almost every other Pokemon game, we start off our journey by waking up from bed. After going downstairs, our mother told us to go back upstairs and get changed. Apparently there's people outside waiting for us. After opening the door, I get introduced to my new neighbors, Serena and Shauna. So it turns out we just moved into the neighborhood not that long ago, and somehow we got scouted by the region's professor, and that to receive the Pokemon he's offering, we just gotta go to the next town over. I hopped on our mother's ride-on, thinking I could ride it, because I just remembered that you're able to ride ride-ons in this game. I guess you can't do that yet. I made my way through possibly the shortest route ever in all of Pokemon. I caught up to Serena and Shauna, where I met two new kids called Tyranno and Trevor that presented me my starters that I could choose from. I ended up choosing Chespin as my starter, because when I first played the game, I chose Fennekin, and then years down the line when the Sun and Moon came out, I got that demo version with that Ask Greninja. So I've used both of the other two starter plenty of times then. I've never chose Chespin. After choosing my starter, I was handed a Pokédex and a letter that I had to give my mom. But then I got stopped by Shauna, who wanted to have a battle. With Chespin's first Vine Whip attack, he was able to do more than half health. And with the second one, he was able to clean up and send Shauna packing. I headed on back to Vandervale Town to give the letter to my mother. She gave me fresh packed clothes and a town map for my journey. After receiving a heartful send-off from the Rhyhorn I couldn't ride earlier, and my mother, I set off on my journey to meet my friends on Route 2. We all made our way to Santa Loon Forest, where we encountered various kinds of Pokemon and trainers alike. After we made our way out of the forest, we headed on into Santa Lone City, where then I beat this trainer that was blocking the first gym, and got myself a pair of roller skates. And I gotta say, this is by far the best feature that this game had that I missed a lot. This roller skating mechanic is so fun to use. It is just so fun for traversing and everything. I was just going wild. After having my fun with the roller skates, I actually went into the gym, and turns out it's a bug type gym, which isn't too good for my grass type. But you see, my Chespin learned Rollout, and since Rollout gets stronger the more times it's used consecutively, Chespin was able to KO the Vivian, getting us the win, thus obtaining the bug badge. I was given the XP share by Viola's sister as a congratulations for beating the gym. When I got to the end of the route, I met Dexio and Cena, who explained to me about the new fairy type that was introduced when this game came out, which younger me wishes paid attention, because I didn't learn about that type for its matchups until way later on. We arrived in Lumiose City, where we were instructed to go to the professor's lab, which we were then challenged by the professor himself. He was using the 3 starters from the Kanto region. I managed to beat Bulbasaur, but I actually lost to Charmander and didn't even get to face Squirtle. So it turns out winning that fight against him is optional, and I still get to choose my starter, which is great. So I'm gonna go ahead and pick Charmander. I named by Shipidedge, or Shippydedge, I don't know. I've never said this name right, I believe, but named after this guy. Starter squad, love it, man. When's the next episode coming out? Upon leaving the lab, I got acquainted with Lysander. We all know who he is, but I've never honestly understood his goals. Hopefully I learn about it more as I continue. What I did learn though, that this game has something called PR trainer videos. I had no idea this existed this whole time, and what's the point of it? I have no clue. We found Lysander again in a calf. He's just doing Lysander things. I made my way to Route 5 where I got assaulted by a Lucario, who will soon be joining my team in the near future. Later on the route, my Chespin evolved into Quilladin, fought against Tyranno for the first time, and I finally made my way to Campier Town. We went to the Shabano Castle to ask if they knew anything about Mega Evolution. Turns out they had no clue. On Route 7, the Snorlax was blocking the bridge, and in order to wake it up, we need a Pokeflute, which none of us had. So, we made our way to the Parfum Palace, and after helping the owner of the place find his Furfro, he put on a big fireworks show for us, and gave us the Pokeflute to help us with our troubles. On the way back to take care of the Snorlax, my Shippydedge evolved into a Charmander, which was actually perfect timing, because all it took was 3 Dragon Rages and the Snorlax was taken care of. Up on ahead of the route, I met Serena, Trevor, and Tyranno, who wanted to have a double battle. Thanks to the teamwork between Serena and I, we were able to take out Trevor and Tyranno's Pokemon without much trouble. Making my way down to Amberdeep Town, I was told to go visit the Fossil Labs, because they might have some idea about some Mega Evolution stuff. So the guy who might know about Mega Evolution is currently in some cave, so we hopped on this ride-on to go find him. After taking a couple wrong turns in the cave, we finally encountered the evil team of the game, Team Flare. He challenged me to battle, and then soon realizes that everything's not going his way. I encountered more Team Flare members, and even had a joint battle with Serena, wiping the rest of Team Flare out of the cave. We found the scientist, and it turns out he doesn't have a clue about Mega Evolution, but as compensation, he offered to give us either the Jaw Fossil or the Sail Fossil. I ended up choosing the Sail Fossil. I went back to the lab to restore the fossil, and I'd like you to say hello to Frank. After crossing through Route 8, I made my way to Siluge City, where I picked up a bike and got the TM strength from the gym leader I was about to challenge. I climbed up the rock wall to challenge the gym leader while defeating all his gym trainers that standed before me. Gym leader Grant started off with his Amora, and I started off with my Charmeleon. Grant's Amora went down to Charizard's Dragon Rage, and I sent out Frank to deal with Grant's Tyrant, who ended up getting KO'd by a Rock Tomb. Good thing this isn't a Nuzlocke. To avenge Frank, I sent out Roxas, who ended up finishing off the Tyrant after some struggle, which grants us the Cliff Badge. I made my way to Route 10, where I picked up a new member for the party. Meet Queen the Eevee. As I continued down Route 10, I got jumped by a Team Flare member hiding behind a rock. After defeating him, he ran away. I found him talking to himself in the middle of town, and when I followed him, it led to nothing. I ended up catching Hawlucha on Route 10, who I named Libra. When leaving the town, I encountered Karina, who wanted to have a battle. She sent out her first Lucario, and I sent out Charmeleon. Lucario number 1 goes down to an Ember for my Charmeleon, and Queen KOs the second one with a quick attack. Karina then tells me we should challenge her gym up in Charlotte City. I make my way through Reflection Cave after battling a couple trainers. After arriving in Charlotte City, I made my way to the Tower of Mastery, where someone called the Mega Evolution Guru resides. The Mega Guru says he has a Mega Ring for us, but since he has only one, we have to compete for it. After beating Serena, I was given the Mega Ring, but before I could use it, I was told that I have to challenge the third gym first. After chasing around all the gym trainers, I was finally able to battle Karina. She led off with Mienfoo, and I sent out Libra, who was able to use Aerial Ace and one-shot the Mienfoo. Using 2 more Aerial Aces, Libra was able to 2-shot the Machoke. Karina sends out her own Libra, which used Flying Press but missed, allowing me to get off an Aerial Ace, getting half its health down. Karina lands the Flying Press this time, leaving me at 14 HP left, and I was able to get an Aerial Ace off, which KO'd her Hawlucha, earning me the Rumble Badge. After winning, I went back to the Tower of Mastery, where Karina was waiting for me, so we can have a Mega Evolution battle, Lucario vs Lucario. We both Mega Evolve our Pokemon, and I'm able to one-shot her Lucario with a Power-Up Punch. After the battle, Lucario wanted to come with me, and of course I said yes. Welcome to the Team Deco. On the way out of the city, Serena gave me the TM Surf, and then I received a Lapras from this trainer, which I then taught Surf so I could cross the water. I rode around on this Skidoo, having some fun, and after having my recording stopped from having too much storage, I made my way to the second part of Cormorine Town. Right before the gym battle, my Eevee evolved into a Sylveon. By using the Pokemon and Me function, I was able to get enough affection points, and all I had to do was level up and it evolved. Before the gym, Serena asked me for a battle. She led off with her Meowstic, and I led off with Libra. After tanking a Disalarming Voice, I swapped into Queen, who finished off the Meowstic. I swapped into Roxas to use Pin Missile against her Absol, and I was able to wipe it out after 2 turns of Pin Missile. I swapped into Lapras, which finished off the Braixen. The Coumarine City gym was a Grass-type gym, so all I had to do was just use Libra, and I was able to easily sweep through all the gym trainers. Right before my battle with the gym leader, Roxas decided to evolve into a Chestnut. The gym leader Ramos led off with a Jumpluff, and I led off with Libra, hoping to get an Aerial Ace off and one-shotting the Jumpluff, but it ended up surviving and then getting me down to 8 HP. Ramos used a Hyper Potion on his Jumpluff, while I ended up using Roost to heal up my HP. I used Bounce, which ended up one-shotting the Jumpluff this time. After 2 Aerial Aces, I was able to KO his Go-Go and finished off his Weepinbell with 1 bounce, earning myself the Plant Badge. I made my way to the Route 13 desert, where my Charmeleon evolved into a Charizard. Then I ran into some more Team Flare members, causing trouble at the power plant. After defeating a bunch of the grunts, we learned that Team Flare is siphoning the power from the power plant and causing blackouts all over Lumio City. And by Mega Evolving my Charizard, I beat his Houndoom, and the same follows for the scientist behind him. After they run off, Cena and Dexio, who are wearing masks, show up and thank me. I didn't remember them being these like masked heroes of Kalos or anything like that. I just mainly remember them having something to do with Zygarde. Heading outside the desert, we see AZ for the first time. And boy, I did not remember him being this tall. Like, I knew he was tall, but like 10 times my size. He's like a G-Max version of myself. Immediately after getting back in Lumio City, I went straight to the Prism Tower to challenge the gym, and we found Clement and Bonnie trying to fix the lights, with Clement saying his iconic catchphrase,
"The future is now thanks to science!"
X and Y is such peak Pokemon anime. And before I even went in the gym, I was just going around in circles at the thing, because I just remembered that when I hatched eggs on my original playthrough, there was a trick where you could just AFK it, and all you had to do was stick a coin in your circle pad, and you would just infinitely go around in circles because of how the camera angle would work. In the 5th gym, the challenge was to answer all the pop quizzes they would give us. They would just show you a picture of what the Pokemon is, and you see if you can get it right by its silhouette. After solving all the questions, we challenged Clement, and he sends out an Emolga to start off. And I send out Roxas my Chestnut. I used Rock Tomb twice against his Emolga, knocking it out. I swapped into my Charizard to Mega Evolve it, and KO his Magneton, but it had Sturdy, so it took another hit. Clement sent out Heliolisk, which ended up KOing my Charizard with a Thunderbolt. So I sent out Deku to finish it off with a Bone Rush, and then Clement hands me the Voltage badge. I then meet Trevor and Serena on Route 14, and Serena challenges me to a battle. Roxas deals with the Meowstic, and Libra KOs the Delphox, and then follows it up with a Flying Press on the Absol. I entered Lavalier City, and immediately went to the gym. Valerie led off with a Mawile, and I sent out my Charizard who swept her first 2 Pokemon. I then had a Sylveon on Sylveon battle, showcasing that Queen was the better Sylveon. After that, I went to the Pokeball factory, hoping to get a tour, but the place was swarming with Team Flare Grunts. I teamed up with Serena to save the president, and then he thanked us by giving me a Master Ball and Serena a big nugget. After that, I made it to Dandemill Town, where Professor Sycamore stopped me and told me all about the legendary Pokemon Yveltal. I made my way to the Frost Cavern, where I found Team Flare again, and they were messing with this Abomasnow trying to capture it or something. So I just quickly defeated them and they ran off. I hopped on a Mamoswine that gave me a ride all the way until I reached Anastar City. I challenged the Anastar City gym leader Olympia, who's best known for using psychic types. Burke handles Sigalith with Ice Beam, Roxas lands a crit on the Slowking, and with a Fire Blast from Shippage, we obtain the Psychic Badge. All of a sudden, Lysander announces his evil plan, making him public enemy number 1. We find his secret lab in Lumio City and challenge him to a battle. We defeat his Mienfoo, Gyarados, Murkrow, and Pyroar. Lysander begins laughing and says just because I won the battle doesn't mean I won the war. In order to stop the ultimate weapon, I have to find the elevator key to get down and shut down the device. After obtaining the elevator key, I chase Lysander to find out he has AZ locked up, where we then learn the history of the creation of the ultimate weapon and what happened 3,000 years ago in the war. After pushing the red button, as you should do in every crisis, I accidentally activated the ultimate weapon. I head on over to Geosange Town to clean up the mess, where I beat Lysander again and defeat all his admins blocking the path up ahead with Serena's help. Thanks to Shauna showing up with a device that Clement gave to her, we were able to open up the locked doors, and the legendary Pokemon Yveltal, who's used to power the machine, awakened. I used the Master Ball I received to quickly catch Yveltal and calm him down. Lysander's mad that we stopped his plans and challenges to the third battle. I defeat his first 3 Pokemon with relative ease, but then his Mega Gyarados survived like at 1 HP, which then ended up killing my Sylveon with an Iron Head to the dome. Then I ended off Gyarados by using Spiky Shield, beating Lysander for a 3rd time. Lysander still ended up firing the weapon, which ended up backfiring and destroying the ultimate weapon itself. Luckily, we were able to escape in time, and we just continued on with our journey. Professor Sycamore finds me in Coryway Town and challenges me to a battle, making this the perfect opportunity to get my get back since the beginning of this journey. Halucha beats the Venusaur, Chestnut takes care of the Blastoise, and then I Mega Evolve my Charizard to show him I'm way better than him. Moving on to Snowbelly City, we have to go find the 8th gym leader Wolfric, somewhere deep within the Winding Woods. After we find him, he skedaddles right back to the gym. With Wolfric being an Ice-type gym leader, all I had to do was Mega Evolve my Lucario and just use 3 close combats, earning myself a gym badge. After collecting all 8 of the gym badges, I made my way down towards Victory Road, where I had my final fight with Serena. Thanks to Mega Lucario, I took out her Meowstic with a close combat, her Delphox with a Bone Rush, following up her Jolteon, going down the same way with another Bone Rush, the Altair going down with a Dragon Pulse, and one final close combat against the Absol. With that, I finally made it to the Pokemon League. I challenged Wilkstrom first, seeing as my team had a clear advantage over all his steel types. I started off with my Mega Charizard, who took care of his first Pokemon, and then swapped into Deku to take care of his Probopass. This was probably the most annoying fight in the playthrough. Probopass had Sturdy, and then Wilkstorm just kept doing full restores over and over again until he finally ran out, and I managed to kill the Probopass. After that, Charizard finished off the last 2, and then I went off to challenge the second one, Seabold. He led off with a Quilitzer that went down to my Chestnut, followed by his Starmie that went down to a Quick Attack. His next Pokemon, Gyarados, set up a D-Dance, which actually scared me, thinking I was going to get swept, but thanks to Sylveon, I was able to defeat the Gyarados before things got worse. I had Chestnut finished off his last Pokemon, and then we moved on to the next one. Drasna specializes in Dragon types, and led off with a Dragalge. I led off with Lucario, Mega Evolving it, wiping out her Dragalge with 2 Dragon Pulses. The next Pokemon she sent out was Noivern, which I had just Queen Moonblast into Oblivion. After that, Queen just swept the last 2, and we moved on to the 4th. The 4th one, Malvis, specializes in Fire, so we led it off with Berg in this one. Berg KO'd her first 2 Pokemon with Hydro Pump, and we swapped him out with Sylveon, taking care of the Talonflame, and then my Mega Charizard finishing off her Chandelier. With that, I'm finally able to face the Pokemon League champion Diantha. Diantha started off with a Halucha, and I started off with my Sylveon. Her Halucha went down to 1 Moonblast, and so did her Tyrantrum. I swapped into Lucario, close combating her Aurorus. I swapped back into Sylveon, taking down her Goodra with 2 Moonblasts. Charizard with his big Fire Blast KO'd the Gourgeist, and we took down her Gardevoir after a couple Fire Fangs from Charizard. With that, we finally became the champion of Kalos. But it wasn't over just yet. Professor Sycamore and the people of Kalos held this big award ceremony for me and my friends, and they presented us with the honor of Kalos, a badge that represented our bravery and adversities that we faced when defending the region against Team Flare. AZ shows up and asks for a battle. He wants to understand what a trainer truly is. After the battle, AZ finally understands what it is to be a trainer, and his heart that was full of sorrow from creating that ultimate weapon finally felt at ease. And then all of a sudden, as almost if it was a miracle before AZ's eyes, his Fouette returned to him, to be reunited after 3,000 long years. And with that and the dazzling sun setting, it truly marked the end of my Pokemon X and Y journey. Big shout out to you guys who actually watched all the way through the video. I appreciate it. My channel is kind of all over the place right now, but since that's like the franchise I enjoy the most right now in games I kind of play, I'm striving to upload more of this kind of content, just anything Pokemon related, whatever it may be. So, I hope you guys stick around for it. I'll catch you guys in the next video.